Good day, my beloved listeners. I am DJ Tinay from Afternoon Talks, and I am here again to make you cry, laugh, and be confused. For tonight's segment, we have another story to tell. This story was sent by Benny Carlo Gian Saturnino, who wanted to share her experience during the pandemic with her family this past few months. So, without further ado, let's hear it now.
Hi DJ Tinay, I am Jean Saturnino, and I wanted to share something that had happened to me for the past few months of me being stuck with my whole family. I was never close to my relatives for some reason, yet I didn't let that thought bother me because I was fine being in my own company. So, it started when my family decided to throw a huge party for my kuya. It was March 14th when my relatives started showing up for my brother's birthday. And as expected, each one of them are present. So at this moment, COVID-19 was not even that well known yet here in the Philippines. So there was no lockdown or any cases yet to be announced that might cause a stir in my family from going back to their own homes. I was standing in the corner when one of my cousins decided to approach me and started communicating with me. At first, I was uncomfortable because I didn't fully know who I was talking to. But as our conversation went on, I started loosening up a little bit. In my mind, I was thinking of how I am gonna end my interaction with him because at this point, the conversation was getting longer and I'm not the type of person who has patience in dealing with that kind of stuff. So without thinking forward, I suddenly uttered and said,
Can we stop?
I felt an awkward pause enter the room as I looked at my cousin's blank face, as he wondered what I've meant through that. I knew that he didn't get my point, so I followed it up with,
This conversation has been getting good and all, but I'm just not into this kind of interaction, and I think for someone you don't really know, it's kinda awkward carrying this conversation.
I stopped when I saw how disappointed he looked and maybe a bit embarrassed for taking things way too far. He just nodded and started departing from my direction. I felt bad for him because I know his intention was good because he just wanted to get closer to his relatives. But I also knew to myself that I didn't need that. Soon after, the celebration has come to an end. Our house is pretty big and is able to let large visitors to stay in for the night, so my dad told everyone to just rest and pack for tomorrow. The next day arrived and I was shocked when all the same faces I saw yesterday was still in our house. And the fact that it was already noon when I woke up is getting into my nerves, since one of my family relatives are definitely opposed on staying another day in this home. I sat quietly in the sofa near the television. Some of them scattered in the room until my mom turned on the TV to catch up with the news. We watched as the newscaster said that our location was one of the places in the total lockdown. I heard whispers going around the room. My mind went blank that day. I got up and headed to my room, and I thought,
What? I'm gonna stay stuck with this bunch of people that I barely know? For how long?
I couldn't accept that since my father tormented me enough and adding more just makes me want to bang my head on the wall. I had a mental breakdown after that. Days went on and some of them are eyeing on me. They probably noticed my abnormal sleeping schedule and that I was never really seen out of my room except for dinner and lunch. I ignored them, but it made me feel conscious about something that I can't even explain.
When will this end?
I thought to myself as I curled up in my bed and cried. The next morning was very different. None of my other relatives seems to be eyeing on me anymore, and that's where my mind comes in and thought that
Someone might have probably heard me back in my room last night.
I bite my lips out of embarrassment. Soon after, I was called by my mom and she never really summons me unless I have a failing grades or she wanted me to do some chores.
Anak, sit beside me.
She said as I obey her and sat myself beside her.
What is it, Ma? Is there a problem po?
I responded. She left out a few sigh before saying,
Anak, are you alright?
I stopped for a brief moment until finally responding,
Yes, Ma. I'm okay. What made you think that I'm not?
as I started to wonder how she was able to tell that something was off when I had been hiding my feelings for so many years. Yet, this is the first time my mom has ever confronted me about it.
It just your cousin, the one you had talked with at your kuya's birthday. He said that you were really sad and I got worried because you never tell us everything.
I was furious at this time. All I've been thinking is how I'm gonna yell at my cousin for assuming how I really felt when he doesn't even know what I'm experiencing. I gave my mom a smile.
Ma, I'm fine. Really. Thank you for your concern. If you'll excuse me, I'll go head back to my room now. Nice talk, Mom.
I went down the stairs and headed to my room. I couldn't hold my feelings anymore, so I cried again and again until I got tired and went sound asleep. The next morning, I looked for him, the cousin that made me gone through this pain.
Why did you say that? Who gives you the right to say whatever you thought I was feeling? You don't even know me.
I was shocked when he softly smiled at me and said,
I may not know you personally, but I do know what exactly your feeling is. I said those things because I wanted to help you. I can't just let you bury all of your feelings deep down because I knew that it was unhealthy. Jean, you need to be honest with yourself. If you're going to continue being like this, you'll forever suffer the consequences of your actions. Just let yourself be free, that's all.
I put my hands off his collar and I stood there in shock. As I felt my tears went down to my face, I felt everyone's stares. So I ran off to my room. I locked myself there for days. I didn't eat with them even though they're calling for me. The only way I stopped myself from starving was when I'm going out of my room when everyone was asleep, so I wouldn't be bothered anymore. As I sneaked in to get some food, I also made sure to my mom that I wasn't gonna kill myself and explained to her that I just don't want to be with anyone for a moment, so she knew that I was fine. Weeks passed by and I heard that some of my relatives are already gone home due to the fact that some locations that were locked down has been lifted while the others stayed still for a few more days. One night, as I was going to grab my late night dinner and everyone was already fast asleep, I froze when I saw my cousin standing there. Yeah, that cousin. I felt embarrassed because after a long though of it, I knew that he was the one in the right. I couldn't bring myself to apologize, so I ignored him. Before I walked out of the kitchen, he said one last thing to me.
Your feelings are valid, Jean, and I hope you know that.
He then walked off first before I even got out. I went back to my room and finished my food. That night, I slept like a log. I didn't notice that I overslept as I looked at the time to find out that it was already 4 in the afternoon. I was having a strange feeling, so I decided to peek from my room and was surprised when I saw none of my relatives are here anymore.
Wait, so they've already gone home?
My mom saw me from my door and told me that my cousin and his parents already left this morning. She told me that they were the last family that stayed in yesterday, even though they could have left a week earlier that time.
I see. Thanks, Ma.
I said to her as she smiled and continued to walk through the living room. Normal days were back and I'm back on sitting with my family while eating beside them. 1 week later, while we were having a dinner, the conversation was brought up. They asked me what did my cousin said to me that made me snap like that. I told them that it was how I wasn't being honest with myself, and I just keep on making excuses to be able to not open up with them. My mom said,
So that's why.
My right brows lift as it expresses a sign of confusion.
What do you mean by that?
I said,
It's nothing. Well, you see, me and your tita had a conversation just before they left. She said that your cousin is actually studying human behaviors and emotions. She said he wanted to become a therapist because he knows how hard it is to feel like no one is there when you're all alone by your thoughts. A great kid, don't you think?
my family agrees and said all of their admirations towards my cousin, but I was too zoned out to even hear them. At this point, I am really feeling guilty, but I remember what he had said to me as I gaze upon the view of my family.
My feelings are valid, and I just needed to set myself free. I don't need to hold back anymore on keeping my feelings hidden, because he made me realize that someone has always been there to listen, and I was just blind to see that those people are my family.
Oh, so guys, what do you think of Gian's story? For me, that's a bit emotional. Anyway, I hope you enjoy it, and I also hope that y'all are safe right now. Thank you for today. Again, I am DJ Tinay, and this is Afternoon Talks. Let's talk again tomorrow. Bye!